Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Micah just checking in with another If It Fits Your Macros grocery shopping. I'm at QFC, last time I was at Walmart, but I have to actually go to multiple places just to get my food for the week and even for the month. So just checking in. I got 500 gram carb, 75 gram fat, and 200 gram protons, and about 40 to 45 grams of fiber a day. So that's what I'm aiming for. I'm 5 weeks into the off season, about 8 pounds up from my contest stage ready physique, and just really looking to gain some weight. So here's some of the items I get at QFC. Mind you, I don't get this all the time, but these are just some of the essentials that I keep in stock. So we've got some Don Poncho high fiber low carb wraps. The reason I put this in my cart just because I really like the fiber content in this, and these are pretty huge, man. Like, this is my hand, and here's what they look like. So you almost feel like you're getting a real tortilla when you're actually contest prepping, but you get 2 grams of fat, 10 grams of carb, 4 grams of fiber, and 5 grams of protons. But as luck has found it, I actually found some pretty awesome name brand stuff. Mission. We got, this is a different one. This is Carb Balance. It's not as big as the Don Poncho, but check this out. We've got 2 gram fat, 13 gram carb, and 10 gram fiber, and 3 gram protons. Something to really look into, especially when you're contest prepping and carbs are pretty low. This is a way to get your fiber in, guys. Fiber is really important. It helps out with keeping you regular, but also just helps out with keeping you full. That's the reality of things, but it just keeps everything moving in the right direction. So you want to make sure you get enough fiber. A couple other items I get my egg whites. I usually get a container of whole eggs and some egg whites, just because it's so much easier just to weigh this shenanigans out. To get my servings. I usually get about 7 to 9 servings a day of egg whites, but this is a really good one. Really doesn't taste anything differently from an egg, so that's nice. Another thing to help out with your fiber, guys, Oro Wheat Double Fiber. This stuff is legit, okay? So we've got 2 gram fat, 29 gram carb, and 8 gram fiber, 5 grams of protein. And so, this is a pretty darn good way to get fiber in, plus feel like a human being outside of just eating some oatmeal. This is something that you can incorporate into your mornings, with some egg whites and English muffin. You can't go wrong, man. So that's one of the things that I use during my contest preps, just to help out with the fiber content and just feeling like I'm eating something differently. So of course you got your standard chicken breast tenderloins. I get these instead of the chicken breast just because it's lower in fat. Don't get me wrong, I'm not worried too much about fat in the off season, but I still like to save my fats for the later part of the day when I'm with my wife. We tend to eat a little bit more in the evenings with a little bit more higher fat, and it's just nice to have that flexibility. That's what it's really about, with the flexible dieting. And if it fits your macros, you gotta figure out what really works for you and your lifestyle, just to have that balance. When you have a family, this is something to really look into, because it just helps out with overall balance of your day and your week, and so you can feel like a human being around your family. You can be pretty restrictive, throughout the day when you're at work and nobody else is really around you. But when you have a family, man, you definitely have to be a little bit more adaptive to what you're doing. So this is actually something that really helped. I like to attribute this to how lean I got for my last show. Is orange roughy. I love this fish, man. It's white. It's a white fish. There's not very much fat in it, so it's pretty surprising that this is really moist when you cook it. It's 1.5 gram fat, 0 gram carb, and 29 gram protons. Kidding me? So this is amazing. I use this for fish tacos. throughout my contest prep, but I actually really love it, so I'm going to keep it in my diet in my off season. Plus, it's good to have a variety of protons in your diet, my friends, just so that you can get a lot of different amino acids. I mean, that's the thing about it, is that you want to have a wide range of proton sources so that you can maximize your muscle protein synthesis. And everybody responds a little differently to different sources of protein, but I respond really well to good old fish, and it helps thin out the skin when you're contest prepping. Those are, essentials, when it comes down to those healthy fats and those fishes. So I luckily came across some buffalo meat. Heck yes, this is amazing. The macros, there's a lot of protein in there, but it's about 29 grams of protein per serving. And the fat content is a little higher. It's 7 to 8 grams of fat. But you know what? I love me some buffalo meat, and plus this fits into my breakdown. But I really love buffalo meat. Definitely has a different texture than just regular cow meat. So if I can fit that in there, I'm going to definitely throw that in there. So fun fact, guys. Got this popular Jennie-O turkey burgers. I usually don't get these. I just wanted to point this out. Okay, so look at this breakdown. One patty is 15 grams of fat and 16 grams of protons. Yeah, and 0 gram carb. Okay, so this isn't worth it in my book. If I'm gonna get turkey, chicken, I'm gonna make my own burgers. If you get it prepackaged like this, you're going to be strongly disappointed as far as like the breakdown. You're not going to get very much out of it just because there's so much fat content in there. It's crazy. You would think that Jennie-O or just turkey burgers in general would be lower in fat, but it really comes down to what the percentage it comes down on the packaging. So it's like 90-10 or 85-15 or 80-20 breakdown. You definitely want to watch that. Especially when you're contest prepping and your fat is is lower than usual. So one other tidbit of things is I go with the Adams Natural Peanut Butter Unsalted Creamy style. I don't really like the crunchy just because it breaks up my bread when I do it. But I got 16 grams of fat per serving, 7 grams of protons, 6 grams of carb, 2 grams of fiber. But the reason I get this is because my sodium, I definitely watch that as well, sodium, potassium, because my blood pressure does run a little lower than usual. So I get a lot of salt in my other foods throughout the day, so I track that. But other than that, this is really good. You can really, every peanut butter is actually about the same as far as the breakdown is concerned, but I just tend to go with Adams just because I really, love that brand. When you're contest prepping and you just want to have some sort of feel like you're eating peanut butter deal, it's PB2. The breakdown is interesting. They don't process it. They process it a little differently. They basically just put peanuts into a powder form, but it's 1.5 gram fat, 5 gram carb, and 5 gram protons, 2 gram fiber per serving. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of this powder. Mix it a little bit water to consistency, what you like. But I use this a lot during my contest prep. It doesn't. You're going to be strongly disappointed if you feel like this is going to taste like peanut butter. It almost tastes like a jar of Planev peanuts in that jar, that glass jar. But it does what it does. I actually have chocolate flavor as well. The fat's going to be a little differently, obviously. 1 gram of fat. Oddly enough, it's 6 grams of carb and 4 grams of protein. So you actually lose 1 gram of protein and gain a carb by getting this one. And then looking at multivitamins, I get this one just because it's USP approved. But it's really nice just to have a multivitamin just to cover all your bases, just in case. I'm going to be honest with you. I get my fruits and vegetables in there. I get a balanced diet, but it's just to make sure that I'm covering all my bases, especially during my contest prep. It's really important just to have that in there. I got my avocados in there, healthy fats. Okay, so here's my unhealthy indulgence. I got my dryer slow churn s'mores. And this one has a little bit more fat than the usual suspects of slow churn, but it has 4 grams of fat, 21 gram carb, and 2 gram protein. But since my fat's a little higher in the off season, 75 grams, I have a lot to play with. So I usually, use that in the evenings with the wifey. But other than that, guys, that's just a quick vid of what I usually get at QFC. But it's really about finding that balance. Thanks for checking in. Of course, if there's any questions or comments that you are looking for as far as future videos, just let me know. I'm thinking about doing a video of just how I came up with my breakdown with if it fits your macros. But other than that, thanks for checking in. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.